Good morning and welcome to the first episode of Spirit Sports. Don't know how many of these going to be doing, but if you know me, I'm Jacob Purdue and I was the owner of Tailgate Time. So, this will be me doing it now. And you can see here, I have this on my other monitor, and we're going to be going through not only college football but also NFL football in itself, talking about some things. This may be more podcast style rather than a show style. Um, but let's start off with college football 'cause that's what I've been doing. So let's start. We have the AP poll and the coaches poll here. Um, the big things is Tex Texas really moved up after beating Alabama. A little salty, but you know, Tennessee moved down a little bit. Um, yeah, Texas moved up a lot in the AP poll, but not as much in the coaches poll. And Florida State also moved up a little bit after beating LSU. Um, so that's something good if you are one of those fans. Seeing a little bit of movement. North Carolina fell a little bit, pretty big in the AP poll. Colorado is moving up after their wins against um, Nebraska and TCU, which I thought Colorado was pretty good. I knew they were going to be good. I didn't think this early they were going to be good, but also that TCU team had no reason being in the top 25. That team could not play defense at all. Um, Washington State being here is really nice in the AP poll. Uh, Duke being here is surprising after the Clemson win. Clemson isn't even ranked in the AP poll. They are in the coaches poll. Um, but yeah, that's pretty surprising. To say the least. College football is as college football does, and are bringing us the most wild upsets of the season early on. Uh, Now if we go to let's go to just some games. Let's go over some game scores. I'm just gonna do the top 25 for right now. Um, I didn't do week 1 or 2, so let's just go ahead and go through that right now, just real quick. Utah beat Florida. I think Colorado beat TCU. Um, Ohio State struggled against Indiana, which was very surprising. Uh, Indiana team is not that great. I think Kyle McCord is just having a little bit of struggle sesh of over there. He hasn't been named the starter now for the rest of the season, so let's see how people progress with that. Because now he's taking all the snaps, so that's something. Penn State beat Virginia. UNC beat South Carolina. Watched the game. Obviously, I'm out South Carolina. Did not go to the game, but watched it. Offensive line is an issue, and really that's the biggest issue. There wasn't really much else to say besides that. Um, this one right here, Florida State versus LSU. This game was close at half. It was 17 to 14 LSU. I can't see that. Okay. It was 17 to 14 LSU. And they put up okay, then Florida State decided that they wanted to put up 31 almost unanswered. LSU scored 7 points in the second half. If I told you that this was the score of the game, I wouldn't believe it. I would not believe anyone if they said that. I know Mr. Buck would, but that was just an out coaching from Mike Norville over there and down there in Florida State. And then this one, Clemson versus Duke. Come on. This is a prime example of why it's adaptation to the transfer portal, and you have to adapt or else you're just gonna fail. Because Dabo Sweeney is very hard on no transfers, no nothing. You scholarship, you're in, all that. And look what that got them. They got them losing to Duke and then Colorado, basically a new team, and they beat the defending second place, like the second place champion. So like, what are we gonna talk about? Like, man, into week two, Utah beat Baylor just barely. Colorado beat Nebraska. Not much to say on that much. Mississippi beat Tulane. I was pushing for Tulane. I believed in Tulane. That team lost a little bit. Tyjae Spears was really good for them last year, and that seems to be the reason why they were so good. And now that they lost them, it's a little bit of an issue. Um, what else we got here? Oregon beats Texas Tech. Little, little bit of an upset to watch there. And this one, I couldn't even watch this game. It was in Spanish for me. I had to watch it in Spanish because Spectrum cut ESPN from their thing. So I had to watch this. The big takeaways: Alabama had no pressure on Quinn Ewers, and Jalen Murrow threw 2 picks, and that was what cost him the game. So some bad coverage, but sometimes that's just necessary. But I don't want to talk about that. Oh, also the same thing that happened last year with the penalties. How many penalties do they have this year? How many penalties? 10. They had like 15 last year. It was disgusting. Oh, that that is a team that you would not want to see, anyways. But going into next week, let's go ahead and take a look at some of these games, and we'll get some big ones. I don't know if there is any. I just started recording, by the way. I didn't have a script. I don't have nothing. Tennessee's going to the swamp. I think they win that one. Colorado State is probably like the best game on this list. Oh yeah, South Carolina's getting smacked, by the way. I may go to South Carolina. I am not biased to South Carolina at all. They are getting smacked. Probably like 56 to 14. I think that's a generous thing. I say that's generous. Um, yeah, that's I think on college football. The current Heisman, in my opinion, just has to be Caleb Williams. I don't think there's any reason to not say it's him. He's been having a spectacular season so far. He's been fantastic. Really, the only person I'd say is even pushing against him is probably like Michael Penix. Michael Penix for Washington has been really good so far this season. But anyways, on to the NFL. Let's start off with the season opener, Detroit versus Kansas City. I saw people upset about someone saying that this game had an asterisk on it because Kansas City was without two of their 3 best players, which I will agree this game would been KC if that was so. But you still have to be happy if you're a Lions fan. I mean, the Lions played great. They did really well. Um, they had a good rushing attack. I think honestly, David Montgomery playing over Jahmyr Gibbs is just criminal. I am biased towards Jahmyr Gibbs, but that man is a psychopath when he has the ball in his hands. What is this? Um, Next up is the Falcons versus the Panthers. This is Bryce Young's first start. He did fairly okay, not great. This Atlanta team is underrated in their defense. They have Jesse Bates, they have Calais. This team is kind of a monster underdog. If you want like a sleeper team, Atlanta is your team. That team is a sleeper, hit it out the park team. It's really just Desmond Ridder. That's the only issue. And even then, they have Tyler Algier and Bijan Robinson. Like, that's insane. Um, Next up, Cincinnati and Cleveland. Ooh, Cincinnati needs to work. Oh, they got outplayed hard. Joe Burrow could not get it done. The offensive line literally was back to like 2020 offensive line. That was horrendous play. Even Myles Garrett was like messing with them before the play. It was insane. Indianapolis at Jacksonville at Indianapolis. I expected Jacksonville to win by more. Anthony Richardson played pretty well. Trevor Lawrence obviously is back in form. Calvin Ridley was the big one. I was so in on Calvin Ridley. I'm glad to see that he's making incredible plays. It's insane. And Travis Etienne is playing incredibly, especially on his effort for blocks. He ran down the field to get a block, which got them a touchdown. Tampa Bay at Minnesota. I'm honestly surprised by this because Tampa Bay should be pretty bad, but their roster just said no. Um, Justin Jefferson and Kirk Cousins played pretty well, but they just couldn't find pay dirt. So, mm. Tennessee at New Orleans. One 1 point affair. New Orleans should have won this by more. Eh. Nothing much to say there. Those teams are just. This Tennessee is just kind of eh. New Orleans is kind of. It's like mid. They're probably gonna make the playoffs. Um, San Francisco at Pittsburgh. San Francisco is way better than Pittsburgh. That's all you can say. Kenny Pickett looked good, all things considered. I mean, Christian McCaffrey and Brandon Ayuk. I knew he was a sleeper for breakout player of the year. In fact, these two, Kenny Pickett and Brandon Ayuk, were like breakout player of the year candidates. So it's good to see that they're living up to that. And Christian McCaffrey does as Christian McCaffrey does whenever his legs aren't snapped in half. Arizona at Washington. Surprised this was even close because I have high hopes for Washington this season, especially with Jahan Dotson and Sam Howell. But honestly, I don't know why this was so close. Um, we have Houston at Baltimore. Obviously, I'm going to be a little biased because it's Baltimore. But Lamar Jackson was the leading rusher. J.K. Dobbins tore his Achilles, which I'm really sad about because that man is a monster when he's on the field. If he could just never stay on the field, he's like the RG3 of this generation. T.J. Stroud played okay. Nico Collins really did well because John Mechie wasn't there. I believe John Mechie is going to be the wide receiver one of that team after the season. Green Bay at Chicago. Green Bay still beats Chicago even without Aaron Rodgers. Jordan Love played incredible. Aaron Jones played great, and Justin Fields ran. That's really all you can say. Las Vegas at Denver. Holy Denver. This is a train wreck. Not even Sean Payton can save you from. That was horrendous at the end of the game. I thought Denver had it, and then Las Vegas just decided they wanted to put on their big boy pants, and Jimmy G decided that he was actually clutch this time. Yeah, Jacoby Myers winning them the game, which they did last year. Good job, Jacoby. Philadelphia at New England. This game was not close until New England decided that Bill Belichick became the next coming of, like, I don't know, whoever. Well, Bill Belichick is always the best coach, but, like, holy man. I don't know if Philly, like, took their foot off the gas or, like, what, but New England was close to winning. Real close. Miami at Los Angeles. Well, the Chargers, I guess. But this was the game of the week, honestly. This game was incredible. Both quarterbacks played well. Tua obviously had a Tua game. Tyreek had a Tyreek game. Eckler had an Eckler game. Everyone was producing. Great game. Game of the week. Might even be like close to game of the season type stuff in week 1, but phenomenal game. Miami just played a little better. Los Angeles over Seattle. With the Rams at Seattle. Basically just, I don't know, man. I don't know what Seattle was doing. Seattle just didn't play well at all. Matthew Stafford had a white wide receiver finally because Cooper Kupp wasn't there, but he had Tutu Atwell and Nuka. I don't know how to say his last name. It's Puka Nuoko or something like that. It's hard to say. But they both did insane. Matthew Stafford looks like he's back. And then Dallas at New York. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Giants fans. That was a mess that no one should have been a part of. Dak didn't even throw that many yards. Tony Pollard didn't even rush that much. CD didn't even catch that much. The defense just devoured Daniel Jones. It was a sight to behold. And then finally Monday night, Buffalo versus New York. An OT game for the Jets on a punt return touchdown. Real good game. A great watch. Josh Allen kind of stunk it up. 4 turnovers, not great. But he started pretty good coming back. Um, Diggs doing Dig things. Um, I don't know what this is. Stop. Um, Aaron Rodgers went down with his Achilles, so he's out for the season, which really sucks for Jets fans. You've hyped up this guy for months, left you on red basically for the entire while, and then he got here, and now he's injured on the first. It was the third play of the game, and he's gonna be out for the season. So you didn't win this game, but it's hard to see where Zach Wilson's gonna take you. I still think that Zach Wilson's got something in him, especially behind Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers taught him stuff, so let's see how good Zach Wilson is. And Garrett Wilson's a monster, so you know I think this defense is incredible. That team's just got to figure out offense, and then they're fine as long as Brees Hall stays healthy. Dalvin Cook is there, even if he doesn't. So yeah, Buffalo's just got to get their turnover situation figured out. That defense is still great. Yeah. Um, Going to the week 2, I'm gonna say that key matchups of the week. We're looking at. I didn't prep for this. Baltimore, Cincinnati, obviously division rivalry. Um, Kansas City, Jacksonville, just to see if Kansas City's back and see how legit Jacksonville is. 'Cause Jacksonville might be legit this year. Um, New York at Dallas. That's a big one. Is Dallas just one game high, or New York back? Or hard to see. Washington at Denver. I believe Washington will win over Denver. A little biased, but I do favor Washington. Um, Cleveland, Pittsburgh probably. It's probably who's gonna get last in the division. I don't believe in Cleveland. I don't believe Cleveland as much. I'm more favored to the Steelers. I think that Cincinnati was just bad last week, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, that's basically how it is. I don't have like a power rankings thing. Maybe I'll get that set up, something. I don't know, but that seems like that's gonna be it for this episode of Spirit Sports. So, tell me how you think about the format. I don't know. Maybe I'll just do like more cut style, maybe less podcasty style, maybe later down the line. But we'll see how that goes. And thank you for watching.